Everyone, and thanks so much for all the support with all of my videos, and thanks to everybody who has pressed subscribe to my YouTube channel also. Today I want to speak about Simon Harris, who in the last day gave a speech at Béal-na-Bláth on the 102nd anniversary of the killing of Michael Collins in County Cork. Now this comes as Harris has been doing the rounds on the circuit, attended as many events as possible in a frenetic fashion, leading up to the general election, which is due to take place in November this year. Now it's quite interesting, some of the remarks that Harris made. Just not laugh, because it's just absolutely just preposterous, some of the remarks he made at that event. He was the third Taoiseach to address the commemoration at Béal-na-Bláth, and he spoke about Collins to say he was a person whose idealism inspires today. Now let's put this into some context, because he said also democracy was under threat, and this is quite interesting that Harris has been pushing this narrative for quite a significant period of time at the behest of his masters in Europe, and his whole agenda was to push this speech through, talking about misinformation and lies are the greatest risk to democracy and peace in Ireland. Isn't that interesting? Misinformation and lies are the greatest threat to democracy in Ireland. It's interesting because let's look at the misinformation coming from Simon Harris and his government on numerous factors and facets. What about the democracy in local communities in terms of the immigration chaos? Seems like it doesn't exist, Simon. What about the democracy in terms of the policy of the state? Article 6 of the Constitution states that the policy should derive from the people of the state, but of course Simon Harris won't mention this in the speech at Béal-na-Bláth. All he wants to do is throw a few sound bites out about democracy, when we can see a greater ceding of power towards the European Union, where over 70% of our legislation comes from. So absolute nonsense from Harris. But what do we expect from a yes man for the European elites and the big corporations? And he also said, this is interesting, because Ireland is a country whose history was woven by emigration to diminish migration to Ireland. It was not interesting. He's trying to use the guilt complex of the past in terms of the immigration to now say we should put up and shut up with the immigration chaos created by his government and facilitated by his government, and created and benefiting the big globalists and the big bosses and the big commercial property owners, of course. But of course, this isn't the narrative they want to pursue. He also spoke and said Ireland's a country of freedom, equality and opportunity. But it seems like some people are more equal than others, and we all know who they are. In Simon Harris's republic of freedom, inverted commas, and opportunity. Absolute nonsense. For the big corporations, of course, plenty of opportunity for them in the vulture funds, but not for ordinary people. And he also said that leaders need to call out racism, hate, when they see it. Well, isn't it interesting that they don't deal with the underlying crisis of what's going on with immigration in terms of the genuine, legitimate concerns communities have? And of course, everybody is against hate in any way, shape or forms. But there is so much persecution being pushed towards the Irish people, and so much of the democratic deficit being in play and taken away from ordinary people in terms of the immigration chaos, not to mention all the other basic societal issues we have with housing, the health service, education as well. And he also spoke about housing, said there'll be 250,000 houses will be delivered in the next 5 years. Simon Harris. So he spent his speech looking rather stressed when he gave his speech yesterday, but he's like that all the time. But again, any nonsense. People will fall for it time and time again. I'm sure in Ireland many people do fall for it. More and more people, thankfully, are not falling for the nonsense and are waking up to the absolute nonsense of the Irish political establishment. And it's interesting because in the last few days he invited Bertie Ahern to attend a meeting in his office in the Department of Taoiseach. Bertie, who helped drive the economy off the cliff. Maybe Simon is trying to get a few tidbits and a bit of benefits of Bertie's experience in helping drive our economy off the cliff with what's going on currently as well. But of course, This is the rehabilitation of Bertie Ahern. It's just remarkable. Rehabilitated by the media, rehabilitated by Simon Harris now, and so much for this vote for change that they keep talking about as well. And in the last few days, of course, he wasn't quick in inviting the children and the parents with scoliosis, for instance, that he promised he would meet. And many children, for instance, a protest taking place around special needs places in schools as well. A protest took place at the Department of Education a number of days ago regarding that as well. So again, it's just lip service from Simon Harris. And he also spoke about Ukraine in the last few days to say congratulations to Ukraine in terms of the fight for freedom and democracy, and Ireland will stand until they prevail. Isn't that interesting? Also in the Irish Constitution it states that we should seek pacific settlements to international disputes. We should also be seeking peace. Ireland's a neutral country, but of course Simon Harris wants to play up and push us towards more militarism with the European Union and through the drive towards NATO as well. But of course, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Green Party government and many of the lapdogs in opposition are at the behest of the big bosses and quite happy to facilitate the big bosses, because last year, according to a survey from the Central Statistics Office, the Irish Labour Force survey, it stated that there were over 2.7% more people at work than there was in quarter two of 2023. This came from quarter two of 2024. So employment rose 71,500 people. There's now 2.7 million people in the workforce in Ireland. This is what they try and sell around the world. But the reality is 1 in 5 workers are low pay. Ireland's a low wage economy. Many more people are being forced into low pay and unemployment. But of course, what's the reasons behind this? Changes in the labour force are influenced by the working age population, i.e. demographic effects. Hence, we have more migrants at work in Ireland in terms of a lot of cheap labour. So here we have the immigration chaos, and here we have the facts being pushed out there in terms of the reality to what's really happening. And of course, this is quite interesting because unemployment is up. They won't talk about this in the great economy. More and more people are being forced into poverty. We have a high amount of 15 to 24-year-olds, 13% of males in that age bracket are unemployed. 11% of females are unemployed, which is a huge amount of youth unemployment. And the hope is draining from so many people in Ireland because of what's happening. But of course, who benefits? Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Green Party and the opposition. In effect, the uniparty we have in Ireland are all bowing down to this and don't talk about the whole impacts of cheap labour. But of course, that plays against the narrative that Simon Harris is trying to dispel with the speech at Béal na Bláth yesterday. Say any dissenting voice is seen as being extreme, is seen as being has to be countered, rather than somebody having genuine, legitimate concerns and can base it up with facts and evidence. And that's what needs to be presented towards these people, because just trying to self-censor people and get people not talking about the real issues that impact ordinary working class people in particular, in terms of the absolute lack of democracy in all of our lives, in terms of the influence on any policy of the state, in terms of the use of the resources of the state. And we can see that having catastrophic impacts with the neoliberal policies as well across the European Union, in particular felt most keenly here in Ireland with the huge amount of banking debt that was saddled onto the people and the huge amount of debt we have currently as well. Well over 40,000 per man, woman and child in the country again. But again, who benefits? Who profits? The bankers, the rich, the 1%, who the government facilitate. We need to bring power back to our communities and talk about sovereignty in a real serious way. So talk to your friends about it, talk to your neighbours and keep speaking out about what's going on in our societies. Thanks for all the support on my videos, really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who supports me to buy me a coffee, I'm very grateful. And also please press subscribe to my YouTube channel also as well. So take care, Slán, bye bye.